Our first guest tonight is an Academy Award-winning actor you know from films such as Interstellar and Manchester by the Sea. He's currently starring in Our Friend, which is in theaters and on demand now, and both stars in it and produces The World to Come in theaters this Friday and on demand March 2nd. Please welcome back to the show, Casey Affleck. How are you, Casey?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's very nice to see you. I know you used to live in New York, and obviously you grew up in the Northeast. We're getting a lot of snowy weather these days. Do you miss it? Be honest.
Oh, man. I miss it. I crave it. I hate hearing about how much snow you guys are getting. I really hate hearing you guys complain about it. It makes me jealous. As you know, in LA, it's the same every single day.
Yeah, see, I grew up in New Hampshire. I don't mind some slushy snow. I mean, the only thing about New York that's the downside is it's only beautiful for about 15 minutes before it turns, like, gray.
I appreciate it more than you do.
So you even love the gray snow.
20 minutes.
This
is what you want. You want something that looks like this.
Yeah. That's where you are right now. That's your life in LA. See, that's so depressing to me.
That's my backyard, yeah.
It's really beautiful, buddy.
Thank you.
Oh, great. Oh, this is a nice tie-in to your science fiction work.
Is that really Fred Armisen on the drums there?
That's really Fred Armisen on the drums. By the way, I usually would say, hey, stop goofing around with the Zoom backgrounds. You have the most busted background of anybody who's been on our show. Where are you doing this, in an abandoned school?
It's the only room I got. It's the room in my house where the computer is, and I had a bunch of things pinned up there, but it just felt too personal. So, how's that?
There you go. I feel like that's the Casey I know. Hey, I mentioned your New England roots. How was the Super Bowl for you? We had Bill Burr on yesterday, and I really feel like this is a week of Massachusetts royalty. And I asked him what it felt like to watch Tom Brady. How was it for you?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I loved it. I mean, I don't know anyone who's not rooting for Tom. The great thing about Massachusetts sports fans is they aren't bitter. They're just good sports, and it was time for Tom to go. Here's a few things I'll say about Tom. He's played in 10 Super Bowls, so everyone thinks that he's just always been the greatest. But he lost a lot. He wasn't always the greatest, and that makes him even greater because he just keeps going. And the other thing is that Tom is smart enough to know that it's you can't win alone. It's not the team with the best players doesn't win the game. The players with the best team wins the game. He got Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones and Chris Godwin. Those guys won the Super Bowl too. So everyone's talking about Tom. That was a strong team, and they played a great game. So I was super, super happy for him.
Are you friendly with Tom Brady?
In my mind.
Thank you for your honesty.
Like he didn't call me after the game, if that's what you mean.
You have a couple of movies out right now. Our Friend is a film that actually was based on an Esquire article, a very moving Esquire article, but not one that you'd read and would think right off the bat it would be easy to adapt.
No, it was written by a guy named Matt Teague, and I was a journalist, and he wrote an article about his wife struggling with cancer, and their two kids. And then that article was turned into a screenplay, and the screenplay was turned into a movie. And it isn't, the article is a little bit of a kind of warts and all depiction of what it was like, a heartbreaking, very sad account. And the movie, made by Gabriella Cabrethwaite, is not really like that. It focuses a lot on a friend of theirs who came to help them during all of that, and that's played by Jason Segel, and he sort of drops everything in his life, and he comes and shows up for this family and moves in with them and helps take care of them. It's got Danae Benton and Mariel Scott and Jake Owen, Dakota Johnson, Jason Segel, and it's really funny also, and kind of fun and sort of heartwarming.
Very moving as well, and that's true of the other film you have right now, The World to Come. This is a film you produced as well as star in, and takes place in New York in the 1850s, but you guys shot it in Romania. How was that?
It was pretty cool. We were in Transylvania, which is like a part of Romania that, where you'll remember that Dracula came from. We were shooting right by the kind of Dracula's castle there. Dracula wasn't a real person, of course, but they have a castle, and it was
So
kind
it's like
of,
it's like the Walt Disney castle. Like, well, I guess Walt Disney's a real guy, so it isn't like that. Never mind.
yeah. Walt is real, was real, and Dracula, the legend of Dracula, is loosely based on somebody, but that wasn't even the castle that he lived in. But it is an old castle, so it's kind of cool to see, and the whole area is pretty cool. And it was a fun place to shoot.
Did you go inside the castle? Is it a castle you can go inside of?
Yeah, you can go inside of it. I drove out there one day after work, and I got there right as they were closing, so I didn't get to go in. But I stood outside, and it looked pretty creepy, and it says Dracula's Castle on it.
I mean, I feel like we haven't given them a quote they're going to use on the poster. Hey, a lot of people use this quarantine time to improve their skills. So you were not, true story, you were not a golfer before this time at all?
A golfer? No. I have golfed before. I didn't pick up any skills during this time. I know other people have. I just it was all I could do to just sort of get through the days and stay afloat. And I don't know, that sounds weird, but I couldn't, I wasn't like real focused and picking up a bunch and, learning an instrument and stuff. But I have golfed.
We have, you posted on Instagram your golf swing. Maybe we could take a look at it real quick and just show people what a commitment to a craft can do for you. Here's,
Sure.
So this is super slow-mo. No, that's not a bad
that's
shot.
slow-mo. That didn't look that bad there. Yeah, I'm not a golfer. That's true. But it's one of the things you can do to get outside and play sports and be apart from people. I got pretty upset with that swing right there.
Wait, so we sort of edited, I feel like, before your club took the worst of it.
Golf is you're playing against yourself. So I don't know what that says about my swing there. It's a sport you play against yourself. I guess I was losing to myself.
It is always wonderful to see you. Congrats on both films. I really do hope next time it's in person. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, man. It's nice to see you too.